Hi, this is Tamika with Create a Generational Love Cycle. Today is February the 14th, 2022, and a beautiful rainy Monday morning. And so today is Valentine's Day. And so happy Valentine's Day to you all that are out there. I pray that you will have plenty of love shooting your way and just know that you are loved, loved, loved. You are here for a reason. You are not a mistake. And there's a purpose. Whether you are a single family of one, as far as living by yourself, or if you have children and you're a mother, just wish you bunches of love your way. And so I am continuing my week's journey of revisiting my mother's words of wisdom. Growing up, oh my gosh, I remember the day when I just was overcome with joy in our second home. And I thought about my mother and how she shared these truths with us, humbly sharing her experiences, not labeling them, but sharing them so that we could have a better life. We, meaning her children. And so throughout my life, I've not only used what she taught me, I literally built my foundation on the things that I learned from life and learning from her experiences. And much of what my mother taught me, I realized over the years resonated so much with me. And so some of the things that I have taught or shared with you on this podcast in the beginning was the first of my mother's words of wisdom, which I believe is the foundation of everything that she shared and everything that she did for us and continues to do for us. Her children, her grown children, and her grandchildren, they are getting the love from her in words and in action, birthday cards, Christmas cards, and just encouraging them to stay in school and to do their work. And that was the grandmother that I wanted. And I am so blessed to not only experience my mother's love, but to experience her grandmotherly love to her children. And so in the beginning of this podcast, create again, it was my mother said, "Give from the heart and expect nothing in return." And there are Bible verses that speak on that. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks, and when we give, we should give what we have and not hesitate. And that was one of the things I did as an educator, as a nurse. I have over 20 years of nursing experience and in the healthcare profession. And so when I shared information with people, I gladly shared it with them because I felt like, why should I hold it back? I am here to give you the information you need so that you can live a healthy life. And so that way of educating others came from my mother, to give from the heart. No matter, giving from the heart is not about what people do to you or what they haven't done to you, but it's about you giving from where you are with your life. To get your heart is such a state that your heart is pure and that you have forgiven and that you will love people and accept people for who they are. And so another one of my mother's principles that she taught us was had to do with nipping things in the bud. I shared that one. How, as a mother, as a person, I've used that. Tried my best to stay away from alcohol and drugs. I never did drugs and stuff because I didn't want to start something. I didn't want to start something. I already knew that alcohol can actually, or too much of alcohol can interfere with life. My father, he drank a lot, and that was one of the reasons why my mother left him. And so I saw that, I experienced that firsthand, that when you're not able to control the external things, that they can become your masters. And so my goal was to not let anything like that master me. And so again, don't start nothing, won't be nothing, and or nip things in the bud is what she said. And with my children, when I'm so grateful to be here at home with them and to have, left my nursing career, forfeiting a salary to something a little bit smaller, but I wanted to be there with my children and to address misbehaviors, whether it be cursing, whether it be the words, negative words to one another. I want to be here to stop that, because when you don't nip it in the bud, we talk about bullying, we label acts bullying, but often those actions, whether it's name calling, slandering, they developed a long time ago. It takes time to develop a habit. And so often, and what I've realized throughout my nursing career, although I'm not practicing now, what I realize is that many many things that adults are dealing with came from their childhood. They're living out those seeds that were sown in their childhood and their adulthood, and they were living it out long before that, and they're bringing harvest, their behavior. So give from the heart. um and another thing is that nip things in the bud. She always told us too, you don't have to do anything to anybody. Often we get upset, frustrated, confused, feel betrayed, anger, fearful, doubtful, because people didn't do what we expected them to do, because people crossed boundaries, because people left you feeling, angry and fearful and doubtful of yourself. And you don't have to do anything, that there is a just law, there's a just universe, that even in this lifetime, if you don't see it, when people have done stuff, they have done it to themselves first. It's not about you. They have done it to themselves. They have acted out in a state that they were in, and they projected that pain onto you. And so you don't have to do anything to anybody. And the goal is to master yourself, that no one determines how you react, you respond. They don't determine your mood for the day. They don't determine what you do or you don't do for yourself or for others. And another one that my mother, that I shared in previous episode, was that people will have tongues, and people will talk as long as they have tongues. And so often we want to control what people say about us, or we get upset when people say things that are not likable or are not healthy. And the thing my mom told us, her children, basically told me that you have to be prepared, that people are going to talk as long as they want to. It may not be true. It may be half true. It may be true, and they're just taking it and letting the whole world know. And it was supposed to have been a secret, right? Or between you two, or you five, or whoever. But the thing is that people will talk. And so you can either waste your time trying to control others and trying to control the message, or to focus on you and what your life work and your life work, what you're here to do. And so today I want to share another one of hers. And I I, I think this is so critical, because when I talk about our journeys, right? Everybody has their own journey, have their own dark valleys and steep mountains to climb. Mountain of courage, mountain of knowing your purpose and the meaning of life, mountain of, anger, from experiencing anger to releasing that, from experiencing fear to turning that into courage, from releasing resentment and bitterness to turning that into forgiveness, and to eventually saying that I will not take what people do personally, that it's not about me when people attack me, it's more about them. And I think when we have that mindset, we can live another day, that our life is so precious. The gift of life, to see, to wake up every morning. And yes, things happen in our life. Again, we experience betrayal, acts of betrayal, confusion, doubt, whatever it may be, through abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, like domestic violence, child abuse, elderly abuse, whatever it may be, addictions, anything. That if we live another day, my mom would tell us, live another day. You never know what life may bring, but you won't know unless you are here to see it. And so through my grades, C's, D's, even an F I got on one of my college papers early on. Yes, I did get an F. um, but even breakups, breaking up with my college boyfriend that I thought would be my husband, that did eventually turn into my husband, how that was even traumatic to me in itself. And going through the childhood events that I experiences that I have discussed on this podcast, as well as on my blog website, tamikaschambers.com, that even going through those things, even today, when I feel like I may not have been the best mother, or I go back and I say, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. This is what I should have done. As I go through life and I learn from what I did and how I could have done it better or what not to do. Live another day to me it just really reinforces that we are students of life, that we learn. And to me, there are no mistakes. There may be a better way of doing something. There may be, an error of something, but when I think about mistakes, I really think about something that is negative. And oftentimes we say things that may have a negative, that may be a barrier to us really climbing that mountain and seeing the truth. And I've used this like an exercise. Instead of saying exercise, I say, how are we going to get active today? How are we going to increase our activity? And to me, that has more of a positive sound to it than exercise, because often you exercise, oh man, I gotta sweat. I have to lift weights. And instead of that, we're saying, I gotta get active, because this body of mine requires activity. It requires me to be in the best health possible so I can go out here and share the divine messages that God has given me, that my creator has given me to share. So live another life sees life lessons instead of mistakes, knowing that whatever we have experienced, and again, I am not here to belittle anyone's experience. What I'm here to do is to teach, is to remind of power and strength that lies within you, that lie within you. You have it. And I know some people get tired of hearing it, but when you think about your body, to reflect quite easily on how your heart remains to pump. A small muscle the size of your fist pumps blood out to your entire body. Even if you lose weight, gain weight, it still does the job. How your legs maintain you at whatever weight you are. Knees, how your muscles work, how you move, how there is a communication throughout your body that even scientists, doctors, we don't fully understand it as nurses, healthcare professionals. How the earth revolves around the sun and the other planets stay in this darkness, right? With millions of lights surrounding it. How the mountains continue to be separate from the ocean, land and water. There is something, some power in this earth, in the universe, galaxies, that keeps things in alignment, the very alignment that your body has. And so for me, again, I don't want to minimize what you have gone through, because every journey is different. But what I want to do is maximize who you are. You are not your experience. And there's so much going on when I read about lives taken, whether homicide or suicide. And it touches my heart, because yes, there may be times when you feel like, I don't know if I want to go in anymore. But what I want you to see is that you are more than your experience. Your experience is not the end. It is an opportunity for a new beginning, to learn what you need to learn, to pass on every experience, builds on the next one, adds to the next one. What do you need to learn from this? How do you grow? How do you continue to evolve? Because you belong here. This is your life. And even when things hit you, a miscarriage, I've had that. Even when things like that hit you, there is a reason for everything. And so I'm going to leave you with this question, is that when you think about your experiences that you have gone through, what can you learn from it? Not what blame you can give to the other person, but what can you learn? What do you need to learn about yourself? Because for every issue at hand, life issue, there is an answer. There are no problems. There are issues, there are experiences that we go through, and there is an answer out there. So, what have you learned, and how can you apply it to your life today? And how can you pass on this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding to others? And when you do that, you create a generational love cycle. This is Tamika Chambers. Happy Valentine's Day to you again. I will be posting pictures on what our family is doing today for Valentine's Day. And I look forward to talking to you next week about another one of my mother's words of wisdom. Until next time, make this lifetime great. You still can.